Okay guys, this video here is going to be on P1 and P2. So this is P1. The width of a parallelogram is 5 centimeters greater than the perpendicular height. The area is 36 centimeters squared. Now before I read the next part of the question, I'm just going to look at that and basically draw what I can from that. So the width of a parallelogram. So first things first, I'll draw a parallelogram. Okay, is 5 centimeters greater than the perpendicular height. Now we don't know what the width is or the perpendicular height. We've been given no measurements for them other than the width is 5 centimeters more than the height. So if I'm going to express the height as x, I'll express the width as x plus 5 because it's 5 centimeters more. They've told me here the area is 36 centimeters squared, so therefore I might just put area is 36, just so I've got a visual. It then says, form equation x squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Right, where all values are integers, where all values are whole numbers. Now, a few of you may stop and be like, well, there's not really a question there. But the fact is there is a question there. They've told us what the width is, they told us what the height is, and they told us what the area is. Now, you know, to find a parallelogram area, you would do perpendicular height times width. They've given you what the area is. So let's just see, by us doing that and rearranging it a little bit, if we can form the equation looking a little bit more like that. So let's look at part A now. The area would be x times x plus 5, and we know that the area equals to 36. So the area, length times the width, the height, times the width is 36. So x squared plus 5x equals 36. Okay? Now I simply say to myself, well, how do I go about making it equal to 0? I would minus 36 from that side, minus 36 from that side, to leave me with x squared plus 5x minus 36 equals 0. And therefore that looks exactly how they want it to look. Where all values are integers, well, there's nothing in front of the x squared, so just stays the same. B is positive 5 and the C is negative 36 in this case. Therefore that would be the answer to part A. Now part B says find the width. Now in order to find the width, we must find out what x is. Now hopefully in the exam you'll recognise the fact that that is still factorising a quadratic, which means I need to factorise, solving a quadratic, which means I need to factorise it first. So we would want to solve x squared plus 5x minus 36 equals 0. Well, this is quite an easy factorisation to do. We look at that and we'd know that it's going to be x plus 9, x minus 4. As 9 times negative 4 is negative 36, and 9 minus 4 is positive 5. Now I want to solve it. So x plus 9 equals 0, and x minus 4 equals 0. Minus 9, x equals negative 9. That's one of our answers. Plus 4, x equals positive 4. That's another one of our answers. Now we've got to now be a bit clever about this in the sense of, well, both of them surely can't be the right answer to get us to the width. That's right. Just think logically about this. If x equals negative 9, what we're saying here is that that height is negative 9. That doesn't make any sense at all. How can a height be negative 9? So therefore, we don't look at that answer. We simply just look at the x equals 4, because that's the only answer it could physically be with this shape. So therefore, the height is going to be 4, and so the width is going to be 4 plus 5. So the width is going to be 9 centimeters. Okay? So we simply worked out what the area was here for part A. Then we solved it. We realised that negative 9 couldn't be one of the answers. So we had to pick 4. And then from there, we just substituted it in. All right. So that there is an example of P1. Now this here is an example of P2. So there are two gardens with the same area. They've given us both the gardens. They say show that x squared minus 4x minus 21 equals 0. Again, they haven't specifically given you instruction by instruction about how you should be doing this, but that's irrelevant. We should look at it and know that the most important word here is area. And the second we see the word area, we think, well, let's just find the area of that and the area of that. That's literally what we have to do. Now, we know that they're going to end up being equal because they're the same area. So let's do that. So part A. Let's get the area of that. So x minus 1, x minus 1. We know from the previous unit how to expand brackets fairly comfortably. So it'll be x squared minus 2x plus 1. So that's the answer for the area of that. The area for this would be x minus 5, 2x plus 4. So that's going to be 2x squared minus 10x plus 4x and minus 6x. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. Now we know that the two gardens have the same area. So therefore I'm now going to equal those two areas together and say to myself, okay, let me now, they want us to show that whatever that expression is equals 0. So therefore let's make one of the sides 0. So I don't mind 0 being on that side or that side. So I'm going to start by minusing x squared, minusing x squared. So that will be x squared here and still minus 6x minus 20. And then that will be negative 2x plus 1 on that side. I'm then going to minus 1 I could do. So it'd be negative 2x equals x squared minus 6x minus 21 now, because negative 20 minus 1 is negative 21. And then my last step here is I'm going to add 2x. Hopefully it's clear here. Add 2x. Add 2x. So this would end up being 0 equals x squared negative 6x plus 2x is negative 4x, negative 21 left over. So therefore what we have here, we have this answer right here is the same as that. It doesn't matter that ours here starts with 0, there's ends with 0. The fact is it still equals 0. If you want to, you could rewrite it just like that, but we have the correct answer there. So that's part A. The second they say area, you find the area. The second they say same, you equal them, you rearrange them and see what you get in comparison to what the question wants. Okay? Now, part B says find the perimeter of the square garden. Well, to find the perimeter, you obviously need to find out what x is. To find out what x is, you have to firstly factorise this quadratic before you can find x. So, x squared minus 4x minus 21. We want to factorise this because it equals 0. So it'll be x and then it'll be minus 7x plus 3, I believe. And then solve them both. So it'll be x minus 7 equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0, plus 7, x equals 7, minus 3, x equals negative 3. We have two answers, as like the last question, but think logically because it's about a shape. If I was to input this answer right here, x equals negative 3 into there, negative 3 minus 1 would be negative 4. You cannot have a length on any shape which is a negative. So negative 4 doesn't make any sense. So therefore that answer cannot be right. So therefore we must only allow for this answer here, 7. So therefore it says find the perimeter of the square garden. So therefore the garden of the square, 7 minus 1. So therefore I'll do a very, very small diagram here. 7 minus 1 is 6. 7 minus 1 is 6 because it's square. You know they're all going to be 6. So the perimeter of the square garden will be adding them together, which gets you 24. Whether it's meters, probably meters, who knows? The question doesn't really say. So therefore that's how you would deal with both of these questions. So have a little look at what I've done so far. I want to go through it and try your best with the ones you've got.